What nobody says about losing someone. Here is what people say when a relationship ends. They say he left. They say she pushed him away. They say there was someone else. And sometimes those things are true. But most of the time, the real story started long before any of that. Long before the argument that ended everything. Long before the silence that stretched into weeks. Long before the night one of you stopped reaching across the bed. The real story started the first time she decided it was safer not to need him. Let me explain what I mean. When a woman has been through enough, and most women have been through enough, she develops a kind of internal system, a way of protecting herself from being hurt again. She stops asking for things she might not get. She stops showing the parts of herself that have been used against her before. She stops being soft in the places where softness once made her vulnerable. And from the outside, it looks like strength. It feels like wisdom. She tells herself, I am not naive anymore. I know better now. But what she has actually done is made herself unreachable. Not just to the people who hurt her, to everyone, including the one person who was actually trying to love her right. And that man, he noticed. Not all at once, slowly, the way you notice a room getting colder before you realize someone opened a window. He would reach for her, in the small ways men reach. Not grand gestures, not speeches. Just a hand on her back in the kitchen. A joke that was really a question. Are we okay? Staying up later than he needed to, because being near her still meant something. And she was there. She was physically right there.
But she was not present. She was behind glass, close enough to see, too far to touch. And a man can love a woman through a lot of things. He can love her through hard seasons and heavy years and the kind of exhaustion that makes people sharp with each other. But there is one thing that quietly breaks even the most patient man. Feeling like a stranger in his own relationship. What she was really doing. Now, I want to talk about something that is harder to say, because it requires a kind of honesty that most people avoid. That woman, she was not cold because she was cruel. She was cold because she was protecting something. Something tender that had been handled carelessly too many times. Something she had decided nobody was going to get close enough to damage again. And so without ever making a conscious decision, she started creating distance. Not with cruelty, with silence. With the tone that came out sharper than she intended. With the way she sighed when he spoke. Not because she didn't care, but because she was so tired of caring and having it cost her. With the way she never quite relaxed around him. Because somewhere inside her, she was still waiting for the other shoe to drop. And here is what that does to a man who loves her. It does not make him angry. Not at first. It makes him try harder. He reaches more, gives more, works harder to get through. Because he can feel her in there, the real her. And he believes if he is just patient enough, she will open. But she does not open. Because she does not even know she is closed. This is the part that breaks my heart. She thought she was surviving. She thought she was being smart. She thought she was finally protecting herself the way nobody protected her when she needed it. But what she was actually doing was slowly convincing the one person who stayed
that staying was not worth it. Not because he stopped loving her, but because loving her had started to feel like a closed door he kept knocking on that never opened. Even love gets tired of knocking. I am not saying this to condemn her. I am saying this because I know her. I have seen her in so many women. Women who deserved so much better than what life gave them early on. Women who learned to be hard because the world rewarded their hardness and punished their softness. Women who are sitting somewhere right now, wondering why love keeps leaving, not realizing that what love keeps finding is a door that will not open the moment everything changed. There was a moment. Most women who have lost someone can point to it, even if they could not see it clearly when it happened. A moment where something shifted in him, where the trying became less, where the reaching stopped, where he started spending more time in the quieter parts of his own life, away from the noise of trying to get through to her. And she noticed, but she read it wrong. She felt him pulling back, and instead of asking what was happening inside him, she pulled back too, because that is what the protection system does. When it senses distance, it creates more distance to get there first, to protect her from the pain of being the one left behind, by being the one who leaves first, even inside the relationship, even while still living in the same house, even while still sharing a bed, she left first.
When it senses distance, it creates more distance to get there first, to protect her from the pain of being the one left behind by being the one who leaves first, even inside the relationship, even while still living in the same house, even while still sharing a bed. She left first, in every way except physically. And he let her go, not because he wanted to, but because he did not know how to reach someone who had already decided, on some level she could not explain, that being reached meant being hurt. I want to say something to the woman who recognizes herself in this, not as an accusation, as a recognition. You were not wrong to protect yourself. You were not wrong to build walls after everything that knocked you down. You were not wrong to be careful with something as fragile as your own heart. But somewhere along the way, the protection became the prison, and the walls you built to keep pain out also kept love out. And you have been alone inside them for longer than you realize. Who she was before all of this. I want to tell you about a woman. She existed before all of this, before the disappointments shaped her, before the betrayals hardened her, before the years of carrying everything alone taught her that meeting people only leads to being let down by them. She laughed easily, not the careful kind of laugh, the real one, the one that started somewhere in the chest and came out without asking permission. She loved without strategy. She trusted slowly, but when she trusted fully.
She had a softness underneath the strength that made the right person feel like whatever they were fighting for out there in the world was worth it, because she was home. Not a building, not an address. Her. She was the feeling of home. That woman is still in you. I need you to hear that. Not as comfort, as fact. She did not disappear. She went quiet. There is a difference. Quiet things can speak again. Buried things can be found. Closed things can open. But only if you decide to go back for her. Only if you stop treating the armored version of yourself as the real version and start recognizing her for what she actually is. A response to pain, a survival strategy, a temporary shelter that you forgot to leave. She is in there, underneath every wall, underneath every year of being strong when you had nothing left, underneath every cold response that was really just a frightened heart protecting itself the only way it knew how. She is in there, and she has been waiting with more patience than anyone ever showed her for you to come back and find her.
What happens when she comes back? I want to paint you a picture. Not a fantasy, not a fairy tale. Just what actually happens when a woman stops hiding from herself. She walks differently. Not with performance, with presence. She stops managing every interaction and starts actually being in them. She stops waiting for people to hurt her and starts noticing the ones who are not. She stops being so busy protecting what she might lose that she forgets to receive what she already has. And the people around her feel it, especially the man who stayed, or the man who is coming, who has not found her yet because the door was closed, but who will recognize her the moment she opens it. Because there is something unmistakable about a woman who is fully present, who is not performing, who is not managing, who is not braced for impact. A woman who is simply there, open, real. That kind of woman does not need to chase anyone. She does not need to prove her worth. She does not need to shrink or perform or calculate. She simply shows up, and the right thing recognizes her. And that man, whether it is the one she almost lost or the one still coming, he will not be able to explain what it is about her. He will just know that she is the place he wants to be. That being near her feels like breathing correctly. That whatever he is fighting for out there is worth it because she is home. Before you go, I want to say one thing I saved for this moment, for the woman who made it to the end of this video, who sat with every uncomfortable truth, who felt it in a place she cannot explain to anyone, who is sitting there right now with something shifting inside her, something that feels terrifying and necessary at the same time. Everything I said today about walls and armor and closed doors and the woman buried underneath it all, none of it works without this one thing first. You have to forgive yourself. Not him, not them, not the people who made you hard. Yourself. For the love you could not receive when it was offered. For the walls you built so high you forgot there was a garden inside them. For the man you kept at a distance when all he wanted was to be let in. For the version of yourself you lost and the years you spent pretending you did not miss her. She was doing the best she could with what she knew in the season she was in. And so were you. You deserved more grace than the world gave you. And you deserve more grace than you have given yourself. Now you know better, not as a burden, as a gift, because you cannot unknow this. You cannot unsee what you just saw in yourself. And that means from this moment forward, every choice is conscious. Every wall is a decision. Every closed door is something you are choosing to keep closed. And every open one is you, choosing yourself, choosing the life you actually want, choosing to stop letting what happened to you decide what happens next. Go back and find her. Not for him, not for anyone, for you. Because the world needs the version of you that laughs easily, that loves without keeping score, that walks into a room and makes it feel like something real is happening. Not the armored version, not the managing version, not the version that has everything handled and nothing received. The real one. She is worth going back for. I am Stoic Grandma, and I will be here every single week with the truth nobody else is saying. For the woman who is ready to hear it, follow this channel. Share this video with one woman today who needs to hear it. And I will see you next week.